Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you an unhaul. So I believe this is only the third unhaul I've ever filmed. There's quite a few books here, there's quite a few that I have said I'm unhauling and I already have unhauled, but I still wanted to include them just because I'd been keeping them for so long and then something has happened that meant they've gone, so they won't be in this video. I'm also going to apologise for the lighting. I have got home from work and don't have the energy to fix this, but really need to get this video filmed so I can deal with some of these books in my life. Right, I also decided the other day to just go a little bit mental and unhaul books straight from my shelves and basically just throw them in a bag to go straight to whoever wants them. They are listed on Facebook like marketplaces and stuff, and they will also be available if you want them from this video. Just let me know. But I have some clips from that which I'm going to throw in after I spoke about the books that are in front of me, but they are badly filmed. I'm pretty sure I'm in my pyjamas, to be honest, just throwing books off my shelf. So that will, I hope Lauren's proud of me because she keeps saying I need to do that, but we've got it down. Basically, I am moving back in with my parents, which hurts a little bit, and I have limited space for books. So my physical TBR of like 260 books needed to come down. It's pretty much back up at 260 anyway because it's been Christmas and my birthday, but they can't say I didn't try. Yeah, I just really need to get some books out of my life, and I've decided to get rid of the ones I have no intention on getting to. So that happened. I will talk through the ones I have in front of me now, as I said, and then throw in the clips that I filmed the other day. First of all, we have an absolute beast of a book. This is all by Aiden Chambers. So this book is seriously huge. I have read it. So I got this out of the library when I was maybe 12 or 13, and there's a bit of a scandal in this book that I probably shouldn't have been reading at that age, but I got my hands on it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Decided maybe this time last year that I wanted my own copy and that I was going to read it again, and oh, I found a bookmark in it. Maybe I'll keep that in there, someone can have that. Decided I was going to reread it, annotate, discuss all my thoughts in this book. I'm pretty sure all I've done is highlight the word hodgepodge and say I really like this word, and that is pretty much it. So this is the pillow book of Cordelia Ken. Cordelia is writing a diary essentially to her unborn child, and that is this whole thing. It's a giant YA contemporary, but written in sort of diary format, and there's occasionally like a drawing or a list or whatever. It is really good. I just don't have the space to keep this around in case I want to read it again. I know my library has it. If I'm really desperate, I can get it out of the library whenever I want and read it again. But for now, it's still one of the biggest accomplishments of the books I've read. It is huge. I could knock someone out with this, but I don't need to keep it around on my shelves. Next are two books actually that I don't have in front of me. The first one is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Yeah, I had to check that. I was like, please don't get that wrong. I have read Jane Eyre. I loved it. I read it quite a long time ago, but basically I just had this ugly copy that I didn't want to keep anymore, and I really want to get the nice, like the cloth bound hardbacks to keep on my shelves. I don't need a ratty old copy. I will try and find the exact edition that I have to pop it in here. It wasn't that pretty. Somebody else wanted it. They're welcome to it. I don't need to keep it anymore. The other book is The Last Namsara by Kristen Cicerelli. I bought this after maybe a couple months on BookTube, and I was watching a lot of Jade from Jade Reads, who I still watch, but by now I've appreciated that our reading tastes are very different. I'm pretty sure she loved this book and I went out and bought it. It has come up in maybe 3 TBRs and I've never got to it, so I decided it was time to give it the boot, get rid of it, and by now it's been passed on to somebody who is much more interested in reading it. Next I have Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. This was our, I want to say November pick for Reading Between the Spines, so I have read it, annotated it, tabbed it, didn't love it, so there is no need to keep this book around on my shelves. I will link the Goodreads discussion we had about this book because we have a Goodreads group, so if you want to check it out you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to talk about it much more. I've spoke about it before, I've read it recently on this channel, so my thoughts are there. Just didn't love it. If anyone wants it, it's annotated. You can get my thoughts as well and some cool post-its, but yeah, don't need it anymore. One I literally just don't need because I have 2 copies of is The Selection by Kira Cass. So I bought this copy when I was in America because me and Brittany saw it in a thrift store. But then I came home and bought the rest of the series, and they're a different size. So this is the American paperback and this is the English paperback. They are ever so slightly different, and I've got the rest of the series in the English one, which came with the first book. So I have 2 copies. This one's bigger. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a little bit battered. Cost me about $1. I'm not mad, but I don't need 2 copies. Next is The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, which you can't see that's what this is, but it is. That's actually upside down. This is a very old printing of it. I might check when it was printed actually, because I'm sort of intrigued now I've said that. I think this was printed in 1987. Either way, I had this, and then another one that when I was in America, I found this tiny, tiny copy of The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe. So this one is going to take up a lot less space on my shelves than this, and it looks prettier, and I found Prince Caspian in this edition as well. So this one can go. Next I have Entangled by Kat Clark. This is a book that again has already been passed on to somebody who was interested in it, so they already own it. I'm pretty sure it's arrived by now. This was about, I'd never read it. It's about a girl who wakes up in a room and no one's talking to her and she doesn't know why she's there. I started reading it and it read very much like early 2000s YA dystopian style stuff. Wasn't interested, tried to read it several times, couldn't get into it. Somebody better now owns it. Next I have If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. I read this again not that long ago, maybe December. I didn't hate this book. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars. There has just been a bit of a deal with Meredith Russo. I don't want to keep this in my house anymore. I read it, fine, I have an opinion on the book. I don't need one on the author. I won't talk about it much more. If you want it, you're welcome to it. If you don't, not if you don't care about the stuff with the author, but if you want to read it still, like I did, to appreciate the work and not the author themselves, you're welcome to it. Won't cost you money because you're not going to a shop, so you're not actually supporting them, I guess. Read it if you want. I don't know. I've gone on a bit of a... I don't know what's happening. I'm very tired. It's Friday. I've got home from work. If you would still like to read this and don't care too much about the author and things that have been going around, you're welcome to it. I still read it after all that. Formed an opinion myself. Just don't need to keep this in my house. Next is a book I actually really loved, and that is The Mister by E.L. James. I gave this 4 stars not that long ago. I just don't think I'm ever going to reread it. This is, if you didn't know, E.L. James is the person who writes 50 Shades of Grey. I'm sure you know what that's about. This is along the same lines. I'm probably not going to reread it. It's quite a chunky book. I'm sure that this is going to end up in charity shops everywhere, so I don't need to rush. I don't need to keep space for this when I know it's going to be everywhere if I ever wanted to read it again. It was a good time, but not worth keeping. Next, another book that's already gone, and that is Let It Snow by Laura Miracle, Maureen Johnson and John Green. That took me some concentration. This, again, I read in December before I watched the Netflix film. I'm pretty sure I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't bad at all, but I'm not going to reread a Christmas book because I have to leave it all the way till Christmas, and what if next Christmas I decide I don't want to read it? So that's gone to somebody who is going to appreciate it as well. They can enjoy it. Next is Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. This I really wanted to reread because I thought it was scandalous as a child when I first read it. So recently, gave it another go. Don't know what I was thinking. Didn't really love it this time round. This is just about a girl who joins the school who's a bit weird and they don't know how to treat her. And that's it. So yeah, this is one of Books and Lala's favourite books. I'm sure she's appreciating something I can't quite see. Didn't love it, didn't hate it, but if anyone else wants to give it a try, they are more than welcome to. And again, another book that's already gone, and that's If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This was our December pick for Reading Between the Spines. Another one that I didn't really love. I'd annotated a little bit, put some tabs in it. Somebody didn't care and they wanted it anyway, so that is already gone. Again, I will link our discussion in the description so you can go and read it if you so care. But yeah, I don't own it anymore. Whack it in the Unhaul. Another one that has gone out to a fellow YouTuber is Looking for Alaska by John Green. I have been rereading the John Green books and pretty much unhauling all of them. I've already gotten rid of An Abundance of Catherine's, Let It Snow. I would need to reread Paper Towns, which should be right behind me somewhere, but I can never find it on demand. Ah, it's up there. Yeah, I read it again, didn't feel any attachment towards it, so decided that somebody who was looking for it, who is a member of the community, was welcome to it instead, because I don't need to keep it. I also got rid of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, the graphic novel. This was kindly gifted to me by Brittany when I was in America. I think she was just throwing it out and I decided to save it from being thrown out. I read it, I'm pretty sure I read it on New Year's Eve actually, and I just didn't love it. So somebody else has got to enjoy it. Don't have more to say. One that's been kicking around on my shelves for a while is Vanishing Girls by Lauren Oliver. I didn't hate this book, but I didn't love it either. I decided to keep it around in case I wanted to reread it, because I have a very bad memory sometimes with books, and I can reread a thriller and completely forget the twist. I looked at this on my shelves the other day, it being at least 18 months since I read it, and I remember what the twist was, so I'm not going to reread it. It was an average book in the first place anyway, so it can go. This is about Dara and Nick, who used to be inseparable, but that was before Dara kissed Parker, before Nick lost him as her best friend, before the accident that left Dara's beautiful face scarred. Now the two sisters who used to be so close aren't speaking. It was a pretty good time at the time. Not going to reread it, don't need to be saving space on my shelves for it. Then there's one that I talked about in my January wrap-up, and that is Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. I read this in January, I absolutely loved it, gave it 5 stars, but I had a ratty old copy, and there was a fellow member of the community who was looking for it, didn't care about the condition of it at all, so I passed it on, and I am in search of a good copy. I won't talk about it anymore because I have literally just filmed that video, so I don't want to. I can tag my wrap up and you can see my thoughts on it because they're there. And finally, one that needs to get out of my life is The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. There's a bit of, not a scandal around this. I was part of a travelling book club community, which you will know if you've been watching my channel for a while. There are a group of 4 of us that were sending around books and annotating them, and then they were going back to the original owner. My choice was Going Bovine by Libba Bray, which I'm not going to get out because it's on the bottom there. And I am the only member of the group to get my book back. The lady, the girl who chose this book, decided not to give Cheryl and Heather their books back. I have tried to contact her through Goodreads, I have Facebook messaged her, I even sent her a letter. And then she's still updated on Goodreads, but didn't get in touch with us about their books. So I decided to keep this in the hope that she would communicate back and pass the other books on to the other girls. She hasn't. I'm moving out. I need to get rid of it. So I actually think this would be a good time for anyone who wants to read this book. It's filled with 4 people's thoughts on it, a lot of annotations, some notes stuck in the back about everyone's final thoughts. If you want to read this and you want to basically be part of that community, go for it. You're more than welcome to it. Because I need to get it out of my house. I can't hold on to it anymore. So now I'm going to whack those... So much noise. So now I'm going to whack those clips in from the unhaul that I sort of did myself. Well, we're doing this myself. The unhaul where I just rip books off my shelf. I will whack those clips in so you can see all of those books as well. So it is my birthday and I've had quite a few new books. I think I've got 13 in my haul for this month. So I've decided to be a little bit brutal and kick books off my shelf that I don't want to read anymore. And yeah, sort of terrified, but I've got like 200 books on my TBR. Never going to read all of them, so time to be brutal. Okay, so first up, Before Her Eyes by Jack Jordan. This is a thriller that I maybe bought at least a year ago. I want to say like 18 months ago. Haven't picked it up yet. Don't care. It's going. Same as Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. That's a very similar title. Everyone who's read this says it isn't even that great anyway. I don't know what it's about. I know it's a thriller. It's going. Am I going to read The Curious Incident, The Dawn of Nighttime again? Last time I read it was August 2018. Keep it. Differently Normal by Tammy Robinson. Am I going to read that again? That was December 2018. hard. Finding Sky by Joss Sterling. No, keep that. The Forgetting Time by Sharon Guskin. That's going. Half Bad and Half Wild. Going. I Know You by Annabelle Cantoria. Going. P.S. I Love You. No, I like the movie. I don't need to read it. Shift by M. Bailey. It's going. Okay, so I've picked 3 more off the bottom of that shelf that you couldn't see because I was sat down. Sweeney Todd. This isn't what I thought it was, so there's actually 2 versions you can get. One is a novel, one's more written in play and musical form. This is the novel one. I wanted the play and musical one, so don't actually want it. Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. I believe this is a film as well. It's about somebody who loses her memory every day. Don't care. How Not to Disappear by Claire Furness. I read this in December 2018. I'm pretty sure I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. There's no reason for me to hold on to it. So that can go 2. And I've got 1 more shelf to look at. Okay, that's all my books gone through now. The first one being a perfect edition of Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas. I got this for 50p. I've not even read The Running Glass, so this is book what, 7, 8? Couldn't leave it because it was 50p. If you want this, let me know. We can do a deal. It's in perfect condition. So there's no reason for me to hold on to it. One, I need to stop lying to myself. Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zuzak. I'm never going to read this. Again, perfect edition. It's got stickers in it. It's like a special edition. I'm not going to read it. And one I did sort of want to read, but now I'm thinking I can just get out of the library if I'm really that bothered, is Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. However, got it because it's cool. It's printed like all old fashioned. I'm not going to read it. So that is it. Those are all the books I'm getting rid of. As I said, if you have seen any in this video that you're interested in, please drop me a comment, get in touch on Twitter. You are more than welcome to them. Depending, there may be postage costs or whatever. Definitely if you're international, but I wouldn't bother if you're not in the UK. If you're in the UK, have a chat to me. We can sort something out. You're welcome to any of these books because I need to get them out of my life. But on that note, thank you for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.